Hello, I'm here at Maui Derm and I presented one of the late-breaking abstracts which was looking at the 40 GEP test from Castle Biosciences in head and neck cutaneous squamous cell carcinomas. For cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma, we really have to utilize different risk stratification tools in order to determine which tumors would most benefit from treatment intensification given the sheer number of cases diagnosed each year. Classically, we use T staging systems, specifically the Brigham and Women's Hospital staging system or the AJCC8 T staging systems. Both of these look at various different risk factors in cutaneous squamous cell carcinomas, specifically large size, deep invasion, for the Brigham system differentiation, which is not included in AJCC8, as well as perineural invasion. However, we actually see that about at least 30% of the metastases are occurring in low stage tumors. And so we really do need improved methods of prognostication for cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma. Interestingly, the majority of deaths from cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma come from tumors that arise on the head and neck. The 40 GEP test has been shown to be an independent prognosticator for cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma, and with that test you either get a class 1, class 2A, or class 2B result. However, we have not looked at this test in a head and neck only cohort. And so to address that gap, we generated a cohort of over 800 cutaneous squamous cell carcinomas arising on the head and neck using two different retrospective cohorts with Castle Biosciences. What we saw was about just under half of the tumors were NCCN, very high risk tumors, and the remainder were NCCN high risk. And when we looked at the breakdown by Castle class, we saw that half were class 1 and 5% were class 2B, and the remainder were class 2A. When we then looked at the ability of the test to risk stratify head and neck cutaneous squamous cell carcinomas, we saw really nice differentiation. And so what we found was that for class 1, the 3-year metastasis-free survival was over 90%. For 2A, it was about 80%. And for 2B, it was under 60%. And importantly, the confidence intervals did not overlap, which indicates good discrimination. Now, some people might say, why not just use the T staging system? And interestingly, when we looked on multivariable analysis at the hazard ratios for high stage Brigham tumors, it was very similar to that for the class 2B. However, when we combined the staging with the Castle class, we actually saw improved metastatic risk prediction. So of course the big question is, how do you apply this to clinical practice? And we're already showing two really nice clinical scenarios where you could implement a Castle GEP test. One is looking actually at tumors that could benefit from radiologic imaging. And we shared at a different meeting an abstract showing benefit for Brigham T2B, where you could help guide radiologic imaging based on the 40 GEP test result. The second scenario is adjuvant radiation, and this past year there were 2 papers published looking at how the 40 GEP test can help determine which cutaneous squamous cell carcinomas would most benefit from adjuvant radiation. And so, future studies would really focusing on clinical scenarios where the GEP test can really help guide treatment are very exciting and interesting and are in the pipeline. Thank you.